Back at it here on Monday, 17th day of November, 2025. I am Dan Kuntz. Welcome to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Another work week. It's Monday. We're here. I'm here. Malcolm's here. Nobody else is here. We're here. We're going to work. We're not going to work real hard. That's our deal on Monday. But tomorrow, kind of like today, it is overcast, as you can see behind me, 48 degrees. Very, very mild stretch of weather we've been dealing with. 55 our high on Friday, 60 on Saturday. We hit 54 yesterday. It's going to be mild today. Today, as far as rain is concerned, today is it really for the week. Late afternoon, early evening rain between about 4 till about 8 o'clock tonight. That's it for precipitation. Snow level way up there, but things are finally going to start cooling down to where we should be this time of the year. All in all, the weather this week is going to be pretty quiet, and then it gets active again this weekend. But this very, very warm weather. Our afternoon highs have been 10, 12 degrees above normal. Our overnight lows have been where our afternoon highs are supposed to be. It's been that mild. Again, it's going to change as the week progresses. News, lots. Sports, lots. Seahawks, well, it went down to the last play of the game. That means it was entertaining. You know what happened. We'll talk about Seahawks, how all the local prep teams did in state action over the weekend. Congratulations to the Chelan Goats. Another state championship in girls volleyball. You're going to have to build a bigger trophy case up there in Chelan. And, of course, they're not done yet. There's still lots of high school state action this weekend as well. If you didn't pick up the weekend edition of the Wenatchee World and read the great article that Josey Meats wrote on our good friend Dave Herald, we'll do the interview that Josey conducted with Dave Herald, celebrating 50 years of broadcasting, 45 of those roughly here in the Wenatchee Valley. It's a great conversation with my good buddy Dave. Josey did the honors. We'll have that for you. But again, his article is in the weekend edition of the Wenatchee World, available at finer newsstands everywhere. Let's take our tour around the valley, see what's going on. There is, well, somewhere down there, the Wenatchee Valley. We looked at these cameras less than 10 minutes ago, and you could see the valley. Right now, you can't. So, anyway, low clouds and fog, by the way, are going to be prevalent each morning, by the way. No problems with low clouds and fog in Chelan. That's from the lower butte. Again, we have two cameras on the Chelan butte, one at the very top and one slightly lower in elevation and situated closer to Chelan proper. They obviously have some clouds hanging over Chelan, but not nearly as dense and as low as they are here in the Wenatchee Valley. Good morning to Chelan. Speaking of clouds, there's Lake Wenatchee. It's down there somewhere. Can't even see Dirty Face. It's pretty low clouds and fog here. And again, here in the Wenatchee Valley, each morning, even though we're going to see quite a bit of sunshine almost all this week, today is going to be the exception. Going to be pretty sunny Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But each morning until about 10 o'clock, we'll be dealing with low clouds and fog until it burns off. Of course, the days are getting shorter. And from high atop Hay Canyon, we see Cashmere looking back towards the Wenatchee Valley, and that's a good example of that. I mean, you can see all of Cashmere, and yet you go to the Wenatchee Heights camera, which is pretty much the same elevation. Can't really see anything at all. That's kind of crazy. A couple of slides to show for you. First of all, snow in the Cascades. Maybe up there a ways. The North Cascades Highway is going to get 2 to 3 inches of snow. No real snow at all closer to us. Stevens Pass, a couple of inches. Maybe no snow at all expected on Blewett or on I-90. The snow level is simply too high. If they get anything at all below 4,000 feet, it's going to be in the form of rain, and even then, really, not that much. But there are changes coming. Your 8 to 14-day outlook, this takes us through Thanksgiving weekend and actually starts this week. We're finally going to see our temperatures not only dip down to where they should be this time of the year, but actually below normal. Our normal afternoon high is about 44, 45, right in that range, and our normal overnight low is just about the freezing mark. Our overnight lows have been where our afternoon highs should be. Our afternoon lows, our overnight lows for the last 4 days, 43, 45, 43, 45. That's supposed to be our high temperatures. That's been our low temperatures. But as you can see, below normal temperatures, above normal precipitation is what the Climate Prediction Center is predicting. So this very mild weather, and quite a bit of rain too for that matter, is on the way out. Things are going to change, but we got to get there first. Sunshine, taking the day off today, going to be clouds all day today. Eventually, the really low clouds and fog will burn off, but not going to see the sunshine, and a little bit of rain this afternoon. About a 60% chance of rain between 4 this afternoon until about 8. By 10, it'll be gone altogether. Tomorrow morning, sunshine once we get the clouds and the fog burning off. So we're going to have the skies are going to clear off, which is why we're going to get all the way down to 37 for the overnight low. Once the clouds and the fog burns off early Tuesday, we'll warm up to 49, down to 34 on Tuesday night. Low clouds and fog in the morning, and then sunshine Wednesday, 46. We do it all over again Thursday, 49, still mild, 50 on Friday. Next chance of rain Friday night. There's a 40% chance of rain on Saturday with lots of clouds. Then we'll back to sunshine anyway, a little bit come Sunday. So again, very mild temperatures still, but as you can tell, we're finally going to see things cool down eventually. All right, we're going to take a break. Oh, by the way, I forgot. The weather forecast brought to you by our friends at Colonial Vista. Why do I keep forgetting that? I mean, they're good friends of ours. Colonial Vista Senior Living in Wenatchee, Comfort Care Community. They come together. Check out their website. Good, I got that out of the way. The news is next. You're watching, gee, can you tell, a Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. I've been helping people for nearly a decade understand their Medicare options. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand coverage options so you can feel confident in your Medicare decision. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or see me at my office in Wenatchee with easy parking and entrance.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. Warm up with one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
So you can tell it's a tad foggy and misty. 48 degrees, clouds all day today. Some late afternoon, early evening rain, and then quite a bit of sunshine. In fact, sunshine is going to be quite prevalent. Still mild temperatures. It's going to be dry most of the week, and then the rain returns just in time for the weekend. It's 9 minutes after the hour. A sizable drug bust after a months-long investigation by the King County Sheriff's Office. A special emphasis team, they're known as a SET. The operation was known as Operation Eastbound and Down, and the arrests were finally made 1 week ago today. Apparently, this investigation was going on for several months with the King County Sheriff's Office as the lead agency. Apparently, according to the press release, the supplier of the drugs were based in Bridgeport. The drugs themselves were distributed across King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties to local drug dealers. The numbers are staggering. Detectives executed search warrants in Bridgeport, also Linwood and Kirkland, and check out the numbers. Almost 71 pounds of methamphetamine, 16 pounds of fentanyl powder, 6.83 pounds of heroin, about 1.5 pounds of cocaine, $83,652 in cash. The estimated street value of the narcotics seized, approximately $1.3 million. And again, according to the press release from the King County area, Bridgeport was in fact where the suppliers were located at, but the drugs themselves were distributed in Western Washington. That is a lot of drugs. Sheriff's deputies have released the identity of the man found shot to death Wednesday in a vehicle on the shoulder of Highway 97, Adnan Abu Amu, 68 years old. He was a resident of East Wenatchee, found dead shortly after noon inside a vehicle along the highway about 7 miles south of the BB Bridge. 1 day later, on Thursday of last week, a multi-agency tactical team arrested a 16-year-old male in Bridgeport on suspicion of murder. Now, the suspect's name has yet to be disclosed, but police believe he may have arranged to meet with Abu Amu to discuss buying gold or jewelry. Abu Amu was the executive director of TranCare. That's a Wenatchee-based nonprofit that provides transportation to low-income patients who need to reach medical appointments throughout our area. Deputies say his murder remains under investigation. The Moses Lake Education Association has authorized its executive board to call a strike if the union does not reach a tentative contract agreement with the Moses Lake School District by November 28th. The union and the district have been in contract negotiations since June. The teachers union is asking for the restoration of lost elementary programming and a reduced schedule this school year, rolling back changes that were made during the district's $20 million budget crisis after one levy and then a second levy failed last year. The district has since been able to pass a levy, but is expecting to receive only part of that funding during the second half of the current school year. Well, on Wednesday, the district announced that it will undergo mediation with the union as part of the contract negotiations. Link Transit is expecting to spend about $33 million next year. Their board of directors has a public hearing tomorrow for public comment on its 2026 operating budget. The proposed budget spends about $4 million more than in 2025, but it also expects revenues to outpace expenses by about $9 million. Link Transit voted into operation back in 1989 to serve riders in Chelan and Douglas counties. Members of the public, you can attend and comment on the budget proposal. The meeting is 3 o'clock tomorrow at Columbia Station. You can also view and comment via Zoom using the link available from the Link Transit website. Well, a longtime Wenatchee School Board member will soon yield his seat. Martin Barron, first elected in 2019. His platform then, politics on the school board that governs the Wenatchee School District had become too divisive. It then helped steer the district through the COVID-19 pandemic, financial stresses, and general growing pains. He did not seek a third term. Newcomer Caroline Sidarius will take his seat. It's an at-large seat at the beginning of the year. Leaders and fellow board members thanked Barron for his service during Wednesday's school board meeting. He spoke with Jenny Rodas from our media partner, the Wenatchee World, about what he hoped to achieve when he first ran for office.
Being independent, open-minded, and listening to other people, and not having politics where I want my wishes and not anybody else's. So yeah, I got in because there was quite a bit of pushing and shoving of the kind that happens nationally in school districts. I got here partly because I didn't like what I saw of aggression and of adversarial politics. And I think you get so much more strength when you disagree, but you figure out how to do something that is mutual benefit. That's one of my favorite things. The job has been a joy, and I made the joke about it's like a rose with perfume and thorns, and everybody will talk about the tough times. But I think what you've got to appreciate is the whole community involvement and all ages. From my point of view, everybody from kindergarten through the educators themselves, through parents, the 16 to 18-year-olds in the high school, in the student leadership groups. It's such a stimulating way to see a positive group of people working together at the heart of the community. And so I try to, when I'm saying goodbye, I try to say I got more gifts than I gave. And I really did.
Sandy Zarate is a Wenatchee Valley dance instructor, and she's also one of 50 people statewide to be honored for outstanding contributions to public humanities. Humanities Washington is a nonprofit. They host programs taught by scholars and experts to discuss a wide range of cultural topics. The nonprofit typically awards 2 Humanities Washington Awards annually, but to celebrate their 50th anniversary, it issued 50 awards across 5 geographic areas within our state. Sarati owns Sanzar Dance Company, has been teaching free Mexican folkloric dance classes with the Peshastin Public Library for 4 years. She was nominated for the award by Peshastin librarian Claire Morrison, who created the classes as a welcoming space where people can celebrate culture together. Each year, the NCW Tech Alliance recognizes people and organizations in our area for their accomplishments in innovation and technology. At this year's ceremony back on November 4th, the winners included a Quincy student specializing in video game design and a pair of Wenatchee Valley College students who helped modernize a Wenatchee River dam. Here's a selection of the winning profiles from that ceremony at the Wenatchee Convention Center.
Ever since I was a kid, I've been really into playing video games. My idea was for a 2D platformer game.
He learned a whole completely new language separate to what we learned. And to top it all off, he got a perfect score on the AP exam, which is something that's very, 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 very hard to do.
He has a true curiosity for learning. He's such a creative young man, outgoing, friendly.
He was always so excited about answering and learning new material, and he was always a big thought provoker to the rest of his peers.
I was an intern to help manage tech camp. I just want to keep helping people learn computer science. My dream job is to be an indie game developer, just develop games that bring smiles to people's faces. If you really love what you want to do, you can find a way to do it. I'm Gerardo Guerrero, and I'm a student at Quincy High School.
Through our engineering program, we learn to innovate, make things more reliable. That's what engineering is about.
A lot of the inspiration came from, can we make their job easier?
We use what we learned from our college experience and applied electronics and automation to the dam.
Our project kind of just aimed to use P&ID controllers and level sensors and all that stuff to bring it up to modern standards.
It's amazing to see how something that we thought was so small is really being recognized by our community.
Having the courage to try and do something in a better way is important. I'm Dylan Cornelius.
I'm Juan Martinez.
And we're engineering graduates from Wenatchee Valley College.
I love the students. I love teaching at a community college because of the community part. A lot of them haven't necessarily thought of themselves as college students or as scientists, and being able to kind of spark that curiosity and interest is always very exciting. Science is magic. I'm most proud of what has turned into the STEMposium, which is a celebration of undergraduate research in the STEM fields. So exciting to see, and it's so fun the way that they lean into it and embody kind of what it is to be a scientist and the joy and the curiosity of it.
Professor Gross is one of the best teachers I've had. STEM can be very challenging. So to have someone who is focusing on your education into that field, that's just so valuable.
I wasn't thinking of teaching, that wasn't my plan, but it's hard to picture doing anything else that would be this satisfying. I'm Lindsay Gross, and I'm a professor of chemistry at Big Bend Community College.
Congratulations to all of the award winners, and that's your Monday morning news, and the Monday evening news will be coming your way tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10, the traditional on television air times, but we're not idiots. We know that people consume television in a different way. If you're strictly unplugged, that's cool too. Our news will be up and running on our YouTube page and always on our homepage right around 5 o'clock. We'll put a link, by the way, to our YouTube broadcast on our Facebook page. We're also out there on Roku, and we're on, well, you can see all the graphics down there. We have an app. We stream all the time. And if you have a news tip, love to hear from you. We've gotten some pretty big stories because of you, our viewers. Don't hesitate. Send us an email, news@ncwlife.com. Considering how poorly Sam Darnold played, it was a remarkably close game. But you can't win them all. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority. Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
When flooding hit Serve Wenatchee, their office and Fresh Hope Market were devastated. But their mission to help prevent homelessness in this valley hasn't stopped, and neither will we. I'm Todd McLaughlin, General Manager at Apple Valley Honda. Now through the end of the year, we're donating $25 to Serve Wenatchee every time someone takes a test drive. And if you happen to buy a vehicle, we'll give an additional $100 in your name. Because when our neighbors are in need, this community steps up, and we're proud to be part of that.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or a relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
Sports at 22 minutes after the hour. Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. That's just one off the franchise record of 5 set by Russell Wilson a couple of years ago. And the Seahawks didn't even score a touchdown until the final minutes, and they lost to the Rams in Inglewood 21-19 yesterday afternoon. Jason Myers kicked 4 field goals, 4 of them, but a 61-yard attempt as time expired came up short and wide right. The Rams, their winning streak is now 5 in a row. The Seahawks' 4-game winning streak comes to an end. It's Seattle's first loss away from home since September of last year. They had won 10 in a row away. The Seahawks will travel down to Nashville on Sunday morning to take on the Tennessee Titans. NFC West scoreboard, everybody played everybody else, so there's the Rams knocking off the Seahawks, and the 49ers pretty much doubled up on the Cardinals. The final there was 41-22. In case you missed it over the weekend, Huskies beat Purdue in a game that wasn't even that close. It was a rout. 49-13 was the final. Huskies over the Boilermakers. Cougars played a rare home game. They beat Louisiana Tech 28-3. Eastern rolls right along. Nice victory for the Eagles, 27-7. And congratulations to Central Washington. The Wildcats win their championship 19-17 over Western Oregon. So the schedule for this upcoming week, the Huskies will be at the Rose Bowl on Saturday night at 7:30. This could very well be the last home game for UCLA. They want to move out of the Rose Bowl and move into SoFi Stadium, so we shall see. There could be history. Washington State travels across the country to take on James Madison, 10 a.m. on Saturday morning. Eastern will be at Cal Poly at 2. And the first playoff game for Central, they will host Western Colorado. We know they'll host. We know on Saturday, as of this morning, we just don't know what time Central will be playing. Well, Wenatchee Wild Hockey, they split over the, well, they didn't split. They sandwiched an overtime victory on Saturday night at home between 2 losses in Portland on Friday and Sunday. The Wild had 6 forwards unable to play due to injuries on Friday, and it showed. They lost to Portland 6-3. And then Saturday night at the Town Toyota Center, Prince Albert scored twice in the 3rd period to force overtime before Wenatchee scored the game winner.
Pass stolen. Devin Pelchier had it bounced right back to him with Nolan Caffey. 3 of the 4 newcomers on the same line. Caffey in front, back door, and a fantastic save, somehow keeping it out. Drop this one off right point. Finds a willing partner in Josh Toll. Top of the face-off circle, back up top for Toll. Curls a pass, Vanek with a wrist shot, he scores! building this Wild team, one player at a time. 6:15 left in the first period. Wenatchee up 1-0. Slid in front of the net, popped up and in, they score! It's Sherpina on the backside of the crease. Stolen again. Can the Wild shuffleboard it out? Not this time. Left wing, Brock Cripps driving to the net from the left. Dot in front, he scores. A forehand chance. And an extra pull to the right side. He got to Versnick to commit, and he gave it that little double clutch. Finds Chapush right point, looking for a tip in front. It's not in. Where is it? Now it's in the net. McCagerty! In the trapezoid. Pass left wing. At the red line, at the blue line. Sivertson with a forehand chance. Penbold in front and right to Evan Smith, who punches it home and scores, and it's a 3-2 game. That bounce went through the slot and right to Evan Smith. As trying to get back on his feet is Smith. Waiting, man sends it across, wrist shot, they score, right dot. Lyndon Burritt has tied it. It's 3-3. Fakes right, goes left, doesn't have an angle, shoved into the boards by Jodary, and here come the Wild, 2-on-1. Jodary looking for a pass, looking for a shot, it's in, they score! Drive home safely! You drive home, we're headed to Portland!
So again, they lost at Portland on Friday, won on Saturday, then they went back down to Portland yesterday and dropped the finale. They don't play again at home until the night before Thanksgiving. Congratulations to the Chelan Lady Goats, 6 consecutive state 1A volleyball championships. The semifinals between their old rivals Kashmir was a really great tournament, a really great match, went all the way to 5 sets before Chelan defeated the Bulldogs. As far as the Bulldogs are concerned, 3rd place, best finish ever for Kashmir, but Chelan is the story there. 6 consecutive state 1A girls volleyball championships. They easily swept aside Meridian in the state championships on Saturday night in Yakima. And now it's the big school's turn. They get going this week. The 3A tournament will be Wednesday and Thursday. The 4A tournament Friday and Saturday. Wenatchee will get going on Friday afternoon. They are the number 4 seed. Wenatchee finished 3rd last year and won the state championship 2 years ago. State soccer. For the WIA state tournament over the weekend, there are your winners and your losers. Brewster, their season came to an end at the quarterfinals, as did Kashmir, who lost at home to Montesano 1-0. State 4A football, congratulations to Moses Lake. Issaquah gave a pretty good game. Moses Lake pulled it out at Lions Field. Bothell did. The final there was 17-14, and that means Moses Lake will take on Lake Stevens at Lake Stevens Saturday at 4. 2A football. Already knocked off Prosser. East Valley defeated Burlington Edison, and Seaholm knocked off Othello. All the winners move on to the state quarterfinals. State 1A football. Royal and Kashmir are on a collision course. If they play each other again, it'll be for the state championship. Last year they played in the state semis. Of course, Royal won. Royals won like 45 games in a row. But Kashmir, who had a bye, will take on Life Christian Academy Saturday in the quarterfinals at 2 o'clock at Lee Bofto Field at the Apple Bowl. In State 2B football, it'll be Okanagan taking on Freeman at Freeman. That'll be Friday night at 6 o'clock. And Liberty Bell will be on the road to take on Tri-Cities Prep sometime this weekend. The date and the time has yet to be determined. And for the small schools, the 8-man football, it'll be Moses Lake Christian lost, as did Aniat. So that means that Elmira Cooley Heartline will take on Nacelle Saturday at 1 o'clock at Lions Field in Moses Lake. And those are just some of the games that people are playing. Your obscure holiday, it is National Homemade Bread Day today. I have a bread maker. It's so easy. You can just buy the packages at any grocery store. You follow the instructions. It's all about, of course, accurately measuring the ingredients. You dump them in the bread maker. You hit bake, and 4.5 hours later, your entire house smells like a big loaf of freshly baked bread. By the way, how much does an average wheat grower get per loaf of bread? For all of us, we all buy bread at the grocery store. Who's kidding you? The average farmer, the average wheat grower gets about 5 cents per loaf of bread sold. So make your own bread. Makes the house smell good, and who's kidding who? It tastes good. Today in history, this is the 57th anniversary of the infamous Heidi game. Viewers on the East Coast on NBC watching the Raiders host the Jets. The television movie Heidi, the made-for-TV children's movie, was supposed to air at 7 o'clock on NBC on the East Coast. None of this affected the West Coast viewers. They got to see the whole game. But the scenario existed as they're getting deeper and deeper into the fourth quarter. Executives at NBC realized this game may actually go past the 7 o'clock mark, and we are contractually obligated to start the movie at 7. Confusion, phone calls were made, phone calls weren't answered, and at 7 o'clock, somebody at the control panel at NBC corporate in New York just pushed the button. The game went away. Heidi came on, and the East Coast viewers never got to see Oakland score 2 touchdowns in the closing minutes to beat the Jets. The people on the East Coast simply thought the Jets had won. They didn't. And 47 years ago today, this actually happened. It was the airing on CBS, the Star Wars Holiday Special. George Lucas later on said, "I had no idea what it was I was thinking." In the 100 dumbest events in television history, this special was ranked #1. They called it the worst 2 hours in the history of television. You can't find it anywhere. It was never rerun after its initial broadcast in 1978. Of course, Disney owns it, and before that, George Lucas owned it. Every time anybody took an old VHS copy of when they recorded it on home video in 1978, it would immediately be taken down off of YouTube. Copyrights, obviously. Disney disowns it. Star Wars disowns it. Fans would love to see it again, but every time it gets loaded up on a content sharing website, within minutes, it gets taken down again. What the heck was B. Arthur, Art Carney, and the Jefferson Starship thinking? Were they out to lunch? The Star Wars Holiday Special. If you can find it, watch it if you're a Star Wars guy. I'm not. Birthdays. He was born 100 years ago today by the name of Roy Harold Shearer. Moved to Hollywood, became a big star, became known as Rock Hudson. It was a pretty open secret around the Hollywood community that Rock Hudson was in fact gay, but everybody loved Rock Hudson, so they kind of kept it under wraps. In fact, Rock Hudson, to cover up his homosexuality, actually married his manager's secretary just to knock that down. But of course, Rock Hudson would eventually be diagnosed with AIDS, and he became the first major celebrity to die from AIDS. But he was born in the state 100 years ago today. Martin Scorsese. Where do you begin? Taxi Driver, Mean Streets, Raging Bull is one of my all-time favorite movies. The King of Comedy, Goodfellas, on and on and on and on. The legendary Martin Scorsese, the most nominated living director, is 83 years old today. 2 exact contemporaries. They were born on the exact same day. Danny DeVito is 81 years old today. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And of course, Taxi. And Lorne Michaels, the creator of Saturday Night Live and been the executive producer for all but 5 of his 51 seasons. He was also born on the same day as Danny DeVito. He is 81 years old today. And the man they called Mr. Met, Tom Seaver. Only Tom Seaver and Walter Johnson have 300 wins, 3,000 strikeouts, and an ERA under 3, the legendary Tom Seaver. We lost Tom about 5 years ago. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsor. Mike Minotti has got an opinion because Mike Minotti always has an opinion. And then Josey Meats from the Wenatchee World sat down with broadcasting legend Dave Herald. If you didn't get a chance to read the article over the weekend in the paper, you can watch Josey's interview when we come back. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
NCW Life Channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCW Life would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air. Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour moseslake.com and start your adventure today.
For over 35 years, the Sangster family has been not only representing GMC, but the entire community.
As one of the few family-owned dealerships in Washington, you can count on our personal integrity, which has spanned over 3 generations, to ensure your satisfaction.
Sangster Motors stands behind everything we sell, from GMC professional-grade products and service from a professional-grade dealership.
Remember, caring about your family is what brings you back to ours.
Hey, this is Mike, Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, here's a poser for you. So Donald Trump runs against Hillary in 2016 and he wins. Now, evidently, that election was fair and there have been no voting shenanigans. But when Trump loses in 2020, suddenly the methods and other voting skullduggery was so egregious that the big lie that the election had been stolen from Trump was not only spouted, but incredibly believed by 60% of those in this country who identify as evangelical Christians. But then Trump wins in 2024, and suddenly the election process is honest and free from any malfeasance. Well, isn't that amazing? So what's the question? Did some sort of a miracle occur? Or is our bully-in-chief just spouting lies his supporters are fully willing to support even in the face of reality? Well, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Welcome to Bliss, Population U. This is the you that appreciates the warmth of a good coat and the fit of a purposeful boot. At Coastal, we want to be your partner in finding your bliss. We are hopeful and helpful because we're about this community. So when you're looking for a place called Bliss, trust Coastal, your country lifestyle superstore. Coastal, we're just what the country needs.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, your place for fun, food, and friends. Happy hour every day, 2 to 7. Try their brand new menu and famous prime rib every Saturday night. Planning a celebration? Book your holiday party, wedding, or private event, even in their exclusive simulator rooms. Highlander Golf Course and Grill, where every day is a celebration. Visit today.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Hello, I'm Josey Meats with the Wenatchee World, and I'm here today with local broadcast legend Dave Herald. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you this morning?
Pretty good. So you're celebrating 50 years on the air. When you hear that number, what comes to mind? Is it reflection? Is it celebration?
Well, you know, I really haven't kept track of the years. It's just sort of been a fun experience and a good journey. And of course, 50 years ago, lots of things were a little bit different. There weren't any box stores, and they weren't a whole lot of things in the Wenatchee Valley. 3 radio stations, actually, and 1 FM station about 50 years ago in 1976. So things have changed, but the broadcast world has changed, and a lot of things have taken place in those years.
Could you take me back to 1976? What was, or who was young Dave? Like starting out What was that experience like?
Well, I actually pulled in 1976 on Mission Street, in fact, running right in front of the existing Sony FM studios, and pulled up my Cordoba. I just bought a Cordoba, which wasn't a wise decision since we were in the energy crisis. And I stopped at the Second and Mission at the stoplight, and this lady came up to me and said, "You're not from around here, are you new?" And I went, "Yeah." And, "Oh, well, welcome to Wenatchee," and threw a $5 bill in my car, and the light went green, she took off. And I said, "Hey, this is going to be a great town." So that's how it all began. But actually, I was hired by Jim Corcoran and Carl Tyler. And Jim Corcoran had a station, and Carl Tyler in Walla Walla called K-Head XT97, and they hired me from a station in Tri-Cities called KALA, where I was the top 40 jock and a sales guy. So we started our journey in broadcasting by basically Jim Corcoran and Carl Tyler purchased the old KMEL radio station, AM 1340, and then changed it into KWWW. And the journey began.
What was it about radio that said, like, this is where I belong? What was that moment, I guess?
Well, I sort of got the radio bug at a young age. In fact, when I was about 9 years old, before you were born, of course, we had these little crystal radios that looked like little rockets, and you could tune them. And you could tune them into frequencies, and you get skip, which means you get radio stations in San Francisco and outside stations. Of course, you get stations in the Seattle metropolitan area where I grew up. But my father would keep pounding on on my bedroom door saying, "You're not listening to that damn radio station, are you?" And I said, "Oh, no, I'm not doing that." So I've just sort of infatuated with it. And then I got to go into a station called KFKF in Bellevue Square and met a guy named Dick Curtis, who eventually worked as a news director at Como AM 1000 in Seattle. He invited me in and let me read the weather in the studio, and ever since I catch the bug. So I've always had a passion for it.
Yeah. If anyone grew up in the Wenatchee Valley, like myself, we grew up with you as Dave in the Morning.
That's correct.
And you talk to guests as kind of like the neighbor trimming the hedges over the fence. Is that a voice that developed, or was it just there? Or can you kind of go through that with me?
Well, I was on the air in the Tri-Cities area, so it was sort of a natural for me just to move in. But, it was live radio back there. We actually had shifts that we filled, 6 to 10 and 10 to 3 and 3 to 7. So we had a full staff of disc jockeys, and it was fun playing live radio. Back then at KMEL, which turned into KW3, of course, it was top 40 radio, so we were playing the hits, and you had all these groupies that thought it was cool to drive up to the radio station, which was then right across from the Peter Rabbit store on North Wenatchee Avenue, next to the old ag supply store years ago. And so just sort of fun. You just sort of had to keep the doors locked because you never know who was going to walk in groupie-wise,
Right.
So.
Yeah. So you had quite the celebration to celebrate 50 years just a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, and November 1st. And my wife sort of put it on with the Wenatchee Center Hotel and her staff, and we invited I wanted to invite people in the community that had been part of my life, clients and former broadcasters and family, of course. And we had about 160 people there. It was a great sort of reunion. I really, as I said in my closing announcements there, this is not about me, it's sort of a gift for me to give back to you, the community, and my clients and family for putting up with me for 50 years and allowing my family, Linda, and the kids to have a great career in the Wenatchee Valley.
Did anything surprise you at that celebration?
Well, there were some interesting roasted comments, and my partners, Kent Phillips, who was on KPLZ Star 100.5 in Seattle for many, many years. He was over, and my other partner is Dave Bauer. So they had some classic comments, you know, I'm sure to say. So.
Radio has changed a lot over the years, from transistor radios to streaming services, but what has stayed constant for you?
I guess what's really stayed constant for me is the importance of community and reaching out, you know, to clients, but to keep listeners intact and informed on what was happening in the Valley. And, you know, we're sort of the communication and the resource. So we felt that we had a responsibility, whether Mount St. Helens was blowing up or whatever it was, or the latest music or the latest hit. You know, our job was to entertain, you know, keep entertaining and hopefully make people's day and get up and have a great day and keep them motivated and keep the Valley positive.
You've collected thousands of stories through that journey, some hilarious, some chaotic. Is there a moment you look back on that still makes you laugh? Like maybe something that maybe wasn't supposed to go on air but did?
I guess, yeah, there are many. One, Jim Corcoran, the former owner of KW3 AM&F, and he actually hired a guy that also went to Washington State University. I went there and Jim went there, and he was actually basically legally blind. And so we hired him. Had a great voice, super nice guy, and we in those days we had all the commercials on what's known as, they looked like little 4-track, 8-track carts, if you remember those. And so every one of those commercials, in order for him to put the carts on the air, we had a Braille typewriter. And so every single commercial in the carousel, all those commercials had to have, after you put the regular label on, you had to type a Braille label and put it on the top.
Oh, wow.
So what we would do occasionally is take the carousel with all the, you know, cart machines and put them over here, and then put the tape recorder over here, so that when Marty sat down, he'd always grab to the left, and instead of grabbing the carts and the carousel, he'd grab the tape recorder, he'd scream, "Reporter Harold, what are you doing?" And we all thought that was pretty funny. But he was a great guy. He was with us a couple of years and went down to radio, and I think he actually did some radio in Billings, Montana, and also down in Oregon. Yeah, but sort of some fun times.
Yeah.
There.
As Dave in the morning, your voice has become a part of many people's morning routines, in the shower, in the kitchen, in the car on the way to work. What's that connection mean to you personally?
Well, like I said, it's my whole goal and sort of mission is to wake people up and put them in a good mood, and keep entertainment and keep the hits going. And in our particular format, we're the greatest hits, and it's fun to bring those memories back. It's interesting, that particular station, our station now, Sunny FM, it's sort of ironic, but you go back to 76 or in the 80s, and now we're playing those songs right now and bringing back those memories. And what really, I think, attracts the audience there is that, as you probably know, you have your favorite songs, whether it's country or top 40 or whatever it may be, but when they hear those songs, typical person, it'll bring back certain significant memories or relationships or vacations, and that's what music's all about. It brings back fun, positive memories, and we're able to continue to do that and bring those memories and fun times back.
And then outside the studio, you've become deeply involved in the Valley, whether it's Apple Blossom or the lip sync contest. Why has rooting yourself so deeply in Wenatchee mattered to you? And what has this Valley given you personally over the years?
Well, my wife and I have always liked to volunteer, and we've always liked to help people that you know, need help. And you mentioned the lip sync, and lip sync was a big craze back in the late 80s and 90s, and we probably did about 25 lip syncs, and all the money, of course, went to nonprofit organizations, whether it was the American Cancer Society or the food bank or the library or whatever it was. But I've just always liked to, you know, to give back. I've been fortunate to have a a fun and great career and rewarding career, and it's my wife and I always like to give back, and that's why we're in Apple Blossom. My wife Linda just came off being the Wenatchee Appellarian Chancellor, sort of head of that group. We've both been Director Generals for Apple Blossom, and I just think that anybody that is in a position to give back should do so, because it helps all of us.
Thinking back to Dave in 1976, just arriving in Wenatchee, what would you want him to know now?
Wow. Well, what would I want him to know now? That's a tough question.
Yeah, if you want to take some time.
You mean if I could go back?
Right, if you could go back and give him...
Of what I know now?
Right.
Well, if I was to go back and talk to me back in 1976, I would probably tell him that it's a great community, and that also it's going to grow quickly, and there's going to be all sorts of changes, whether it's box stores or telephone booths are going to go bye-bye. The computer's going to happen in 1980. You got to remember there were no computers.
Right.
So Bill Gates didn't exist. All of our logs that we had for commercials were hand logged.
Wow.
There's no computers. And probably tell them that those turntables that are out there are not going to be there anymore. Everything is going to be in a machine, and eventually everything is going to be on a personal device that you're going to hold in your hand, I guess. You know?
And here you are, you're still doing it.
I'm still doing it. I'm still having fun. Yeah.
What keeps radio joyfully for you today? And what still gets you to crack the mic at 6 a.m.?
Oh, I think it's being able to help people, help clients, and knowing that you're helping people get through their day. And I was in Denny's the other day, and I was just paying my breakfast bill. Sometimes I'll just go there or another restaurant and just sort of veg for a while. As I was leaving, a guy that I didn't even recognize said, "Hey, happy 50th anniversary, Dave."
Oh, cool.
And you get things like, you don't realize, because that's what you do every day, the impact sometimes that you're making on making somebody's day. And music gives them sort of an opportunity to go back to their memories, and if they're having a bad day, maybe make their day a little bit better. So.
Okay, I have 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
One's kind of an easy one that I need to ask it because I'm a huge breakfast person. What's your breakfast order?
My breakfast order, I'm sort of on this health craze, so my breakfast order usually is a couple of eggs. Always want to get some protein in there, and either ham or some sort of protein, chicken, or no hash browns, and fruit, and a cup of coffee, and maybe a glass of milk. Just to get me on my day.
You still sound like you have a lot of energy and a lot of passion for it. Are there any new ideas that you're wanting to try, or old ideas that you want to revisit?
Well, we're always looking for new ideas to, for clients, but also for listeners. And we, like I said, always looking for new things. We started a program years ago called, we're sort of known as the Pay It Forward Station. And we try to do acts of kindness. And today, which of course is November 11th, is Veterans Day. So I'm going to go into the American Legion. I'm going to walk in and made some arrangements to go buy everybody a beer on the house from Dave in the Morning and Sunny FM. So we do that. We'll buy people dinner at the Windmill or a cup of coffees down at Pybus. And we do that usually every Friday, but we do it on special days like today as well. So it's sort of fun to do things like that, get back to the community and make people's day.
Right. Very cool. I lied. I actually have one more. Do you have a message you'd like to share with the community that has tuned in so faithfully over the years?
I guess first thing comes to my mind is a big thank you for giving me an opportunity and our staff an opportunity to, serve the community and play the music that many of them grew up with. It's truly one of those generational radio stations. As I mentioned before, we're playing music that I rolled back in 1976 and 1980, and we'll continue to do the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and dip into the 2000s as well. And it's just, I guess, a big thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you for joining me
today.
You
bet. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Josey Meats at the NCW Live Studio. Thanks for tuning in.
Merry Maids can clean your entire home, business, or vacation rental from top to bottom, inside and out. Merry Maids will even take care of cleaning your carpets, and they can pressure wash your home. Merry Maids has thousands of happy customers. They've been cleaning homes and businesses in our valley for over 25 years. Check out their glowing reviews at merrymaidesofwenatchee.com and call the cleaning experts, Merry Maids, to get your free estimate. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. So relax, it's done.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure, on NCW Life. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCW Life channel.
Somewhere down there is the Wenatchee Valley. Trust me on that. It is 48 degrees, very mild. Our high temperatures over the weekend, in case you missed it, it was 55 Friday, 60 on Saturday. It was 54 yesterday. We're going to get to 54 today. Our overnight lows have been in the mid-40s. That's supposed to be where our afternoon highs have been. It's been extraordinarily mild and a tad wet for the vast majority of November, especially the last 4 or 5 days. That will change eventually. This takes us into Thanksgiving week and Thanksgiving weekend. Finally, we're going to see temperatures getting back down, not only to normal, but perhaps even below normal once we get to this period, November 24th through the 30th. So there is a pattern change coming next week. We're going to get there first. And it looks like we have a better than 50-50 chance of seeing above normal precipitation. But we're not there yet. In fact, take a look at the forecast. Quite a bit of sunshine today. We're going to get some rain between about 4 o'clock to about 7:30 or 8 o'clock today. Lots of clouds and a high of 54, or normal high 43. But the clouds will clear out tonight. That's why we're going to get all the way down to 37 degrees. We're going to have some patchy fog and some clouds in the morning hours on Tuesday. It burns off. We'll bump up to close to 50. Clear skies Tuesday night means pretty chilly temperatures. 34 for the overnight low. Same deal Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Each morning, as the sun begins to get the job done in the early morning hours, say 7:38, low clouds and fog eventually burns off mid to late morning with sunshine in the afternoon. And that's it for us. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.